Russian army disaster as Ukraine wipes out 30,000 soldiers in a battle for eastern city. Russia's army has amassed 50,000 troops in the area and stepped up its attacks in a desperate bid to seize the city once and for all before the winter sets in. Ukraine's army has inflicted massive casualties on Putin's forces as they battle to take a key eastern city. Intense fighting for Pokrovsk has raged for 21 months and appears to be reaching a climax. The city is a vital logistics and transport hub for Kiev's army on its eastern hub and has been described as a gateway to Donetsk. Its loss would be a major blow for Ukraine's army and would bring Vladimir Putin's goal of controlling the entire Donbass one step closer. Russia's army has amassed 50,000 troops in the area and stepped up its attack in a desperate bid to seize the city once and for all before the winter sets in.
В доме напротив, пацаны!
Last week, Ukraine's army rushed in special forces to beef up its defenses in the besieged city, which had been infiltrated by some 300 Russian troops. Fierce fighting was reported around the railway station and industrial zone, with the city's capture seemingly imminent. However, the Russian offensive appears to have momentarily stalled as Putin's forces regather, having sustained massive casualties.
Упал дрон?
Ukraine's army chief Alexander Syrsky claimed the situation had stabilized and that Putin's forces had only succeeded in advancing in a few places. The intensity of the enemy's attack has indeed decreased, he said. This does not mean that they want to take Pokrovsk any less. Right now, the Russians have gathered 50,000 troops there, but they know that since October they have lost a similar number, around 30,000 soldiers.
Пидор, пидор!
The commander-in-chief also noted that the 425th Assault Regiment had been deployed to Pokrovsk and is operating very effectively. Another unit currently operating on the Pokrovsk front is the 7th Airborne Assault Corps. They claim to have eliminated 236 Russians and wounded another 136 during the course of the last 7 days. The unit also destroyed a tank, 3 armored combat vehicles, and 23 units of automobiles and motorcycles. In an update to their colonel, the 7th Corps said, the enemy continues to increase the number of assaults on Ukrainian positions in the Pokrovsk agglomeration. Last week, the Russians attacked our units 132 times. This is almost 20% more than the previous week. The elimination of Russians in the northern part of Pokrovsk continues. The most intense fighting is currently taking place in the industrial zone. At the same time, the enemy is trying to concentrate efforts in other areas of the city and on the western outskirts for further advancement towards Hirishny, which is northwest of Pokrovsk. Under heavy fog, Russia presses into Pokrovsk. Ukraine says 300 troops enter city. Russia is intensifying its push to seize Pokrovsk, exploiting low visibility that blunts Ukrainian drone surveillance and strikes. The 7th Corps of Ukraine's air assault forces reported on November 11. Pokrovsk, with a pre-war population of around 60,000, has been a key target for Russia in recent months. Since this summer, Russian reconnaissance and sabotage groups have entered the city but have so far failed to capture it.
Пошел! Направо, гранату! Держу, стоп!
Russian forces are advancing into Pokrovsk from the southern outskirts with light equipment coming from occupied Selivadovi and Donetsk. The 7th Corps says that over 300 Russian troops are currently in the city, aiming to reach the northern borders of Pokrovsk and encircle the urban area, according to the 7th Corps. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces continue to detect and neutralize Russian troops in urban areas, even under low visibility conditions. The Ukrainian army has reportedly eliminated 162 Russian soldiers in Pokrovsk, with another 39 wounded since the beginning of November. After taking control of Avdiivka, a long-standing Ukrainian stronghold roughly 40 kilometers or 25 miles southeast of Pokrovsk, in February 2024, Russian forces have been steadily pushing towards Pokrovsk, a former key Ukrainian logistics hub located in a relatively secure part of Donetsk Oblast. Russian troops have now encircled Pokrovsk on 3 sides, leaving only a roughly 15-kilometer or 9-mile corridor for Ukrainian forces to bring in reinforcements and supplies, according to the Ukrainian open-source battlefield monitoring group Deep State. Russia outnumbers Ukrainian troops 8-1 in their offensive to capture Pokrovsk, according to President Volodymyr Zelensky. However, some military analysts doubt Russia would be able to quickly capture the area and move on to neighboring cities. Ukrainian military expert Oleksiy Hetman told RFE/RL that while the situation is growing difficult, Ukrainian forces still have strongholds prepared west of the city, which would allow them to repel further Russian assaults. No doors or routes to Slovyansk or Kramatorsk are being opened. That's nonsense spread by Russian propaganda.